So this is me, bowling, instead of learning some pin tricks. This is part of the reason why I haven't posted in 3 weeks. Hey yo interneters, welcome back to another pin spinning video. And so for today, we're going to be learning how to do the thumb spin. And before we get into the video, I want to take a quick moment to say sorry for not posting in a very long time. I think this is like the 3rd week of me not posting. And yeah, I've just been getting caught up in many different things and I've been busy. I feel like I've been getting pulled from left to right at the same time. But the best part about all of this is that I'm able to learn how to manage my time better because of all these things that's going on right now with me. I'm actually using bowling as an escape or a way to de-stress myself during this time, so I didn't like pin spin or practice some pin moves during this time. But with all of that being said, let's just get right into the video and talk about how I learned the thumb spin. And so for the thumb spin, there is a prerequisite in learning the thumb spin, and if you haven't guessed it, it is to know the thumb around. And when I say you have to know how to do the thumb around, you kind of gotta know how to do the thumb around very comfortably. Like you get it down every single time you do the thumb around, and doing it at very different angle. Like you could start like from here horizontally, so on and so forth. And the thumb spin is considered a top spin trick, and basically what that means is the pin is spinning on top of your hand or fingers. And how the thumb spin works is, usually you would do a regular thumb around, right? But instead, for this time, when you're doing the thumb around, the pin will spin on top of your thumb more than one revolution, and then you'll come to a stop, and then that should be done for the thumb spin. But the thing is, it's a little bit tricky because there's a slight adjustment that you'll have to do. Like when you're doing the thumb around, you generally start like right here, and when you spin it, it ends up in this position, right? But when you're doing the thumb spin, there's a difference in that you want to keep the center of gravity of your pin, which by this pin is indicated by this line right here. You want it to have it dead center when you're spinning it around your thumb. Like when you're doing the thumb around, it's kind of like not balanced. The center of gravity isn't on your thumb per se for most of the time when you're doing the thumb spin. The thumb around. But with the thumb spin, you want it to stay focused on your thumb with the center of gravity, right? You want it to have that, and it'll continue to spin on top of your thumb. And that's the tricky part of doing the thumb spin. And so if you've been following me for a really long time, you know that I got the thumb around down to the T, as in I could do it very and extremely comfortably at many different angles. And the reason why I got to that point with the thumb spin, the thumb around, is because I've done so many tricks that involve me knowing how to do the thumb around. And I'll leave a link up here for you to click to see all the pin tricks that I've learned that required you to know the thumb around as a prerequisite. And so with all of that, let's just start learning this thumb spin. So this is me practicing the thumb spin for the first time, and you can see that I got more than one revolution in right off the bat. And that's just mainly because I'm very comfortable with doing the thumb around from all the other pin tricks that I did, like I mentioned in my earlier parts of the video. And you may also notice my hair, like I didn't comb it at all right after waking up from a nap, but we'll just pretend that I combed my hair and it looks pristine. So starting off initially, it didn't go too bad, right? I managed to get more than one revolution down already for the thumb spin, and that's pretty much like halfway there, because now I just gotta catch it, so to speak. So it turned out pretty well. And basically after spending those times practicing, I think it's roughly about an hour and a half of me practicing that, here's the couple things that I figured out during that practice. And so what was happening when I was practicing the thumb spin, the pin was able to spin multiple times around my thumb or this general area of my hand. The problem was, or the inconsistency comes when I'm doing it, right? It goes all over the place. And what I mean by go all over the place, the pin will spin sometime right here with my thumb, and it will move like somewhere right here, or it will move somewhere right here and come back. It's just like really inconsistent, right? And so this was the main problem that I was facing, right? But the way, that, I don't know how that happened. Okay, so yeah, when I'm trying to demonstrate that I can't do it, it seems like I could do it. Maybe every time I learn a new pin trick, I should just like do it without trying. I don't know. Okay, that's not supposed to happen. Basically, I don't know how that happened, but when I'm doing the thumb spin, it just goes all over the place and it wasn't consistent. For that time, I don't know how that happened, but hey, it worked at this angle, so you get to see it, how a thumb spin works. But yeah, well, that's gotta go back to practicing. And so with that, I tried to get the pen to spin on top of my thumb in one single spot instead of spinning it all over the place, so it could have more consistency. And so this is when you have round 2 practice of the thumb spin for me. So with practice 2, I continued to practice for another couple hours for this section, and I did a lot of testing and adjustment mainly for this practice. And so what I mean by that is I continue to play around with the certain angles of the pin and how hard you're supposed to put force into spinning the pin and so on and so forth. I spent a lot of time testing and practicing random different things. And through these random types of testing and changes of the angles of the pin, I figured out what works best for me. And one of them was from the tutorial that I rewatched to see how you're supposed to do the thumb spin. You know, I went ahead and rewatched some tutorials to see how you do the thumb spin. And you know, I watched KTrend93 video. And so he was talking about how you can actually use your index finger to actually support the pin, like when it's spinning right like around your thumb area. This portion of your index finger could be used to support the pin so you don't like wobble, because when it wobbles, right, it will just fall off or lose balance when it do. So when you have that pin spinning, you can have your index to support it to continue the revolution and like, so it could be balanced, so the pin could be balanced. And so that was one of the things that I try to work on, and it did help, but for me, I just didn't like that, I guess. And so the way I started spinning the pin as I was practicing this, I actually hold the pin like this, and the pin is very horizontal. It's not like holding at this angle or, you know, anything. The pin is horizontal. And instead of pushing the pin with my middle finger, like how you would do it like a regular thumb around, because I find that for me, when I'm doing the push with my thumb around, with my my middle finger, the pin kinda like just do that like that regular thumb around thing where I find it very difficult for the center of gravity of my pin to stay in that one spot. So what I end up changing, or what I end up doing that seems to work for me, right, is that I do like a snapping motion. It's not it's kind of like a push with my pin, but it's not. It's like I'm snapping my finger, like when you're doing like a regular snap, it's like that. And so I'm kind of like snapping the pin. And what happens with my middle fingers is pushing against my thumb, and then like the pin kind of, my middle finger kind of slide off the pin, right? It's like snapping, it's like that. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not pushing, I am pushing it, but I'm not pushing it all the way around. What I'm doing is I'm kind of like snapping, and the middle finger kind of push under the pin, and then that will just continue to have the pin spinning. But when the difference that happens for me when that happens is it actually spin in a very, very accurate spot. And so finally, after a total of 4 hours and 51 minutes, I'm able to do the thumb spin, and here's a clip of me doing it 3 times in a row. And so with all of that, you know, got a pin trick down in like 3 weeks, so that's good news. And I know that this video quality isn't as good compared to my previous recent ones, like I would say a couple weeks ago, or the latest one, is because I was rushing to make this video so I could squeeze in one video, because if I didn't, I was afraid that I might be skipping another week, and I wouldn't want to do that to you guys. And so I just want to say thank you again for being very patient with me. And that's pretty much all I have for this week and today. And if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you show it by hitting the like and subscribe button. And like always, thanks for watching, and until next time.